that made folks vulnerable in the first place. So for that, we've been interested in using the rebuilding and the recovery to create good jobs that lead to careers, to build affordable housing, to make healthcare more accessible, and sort of general transparency work with the city. As many of you know, sort of we passed the Sandy Tracker bill in late last year, which has all these different contracts that come out. You can see how many people have been hired, and where the money is going, because it is a pretty cumbersome system with federal funds coming in. But that money represents a huge opportunity, we think, and sort of the issues that have been raised by the other panelists underscore kind of the issues that we are seeing, and that particularly for renters, it has been an incredibly slow and difficult recovery. So a lot of renters were living in basement apartments, first floor apartments. Those units are gone. Those units are not coming back. They were sort of affordable housing, even in private stock. We've seen in neighborhoods like Midland Beach and Newark Beach, which was in Staten Island, that was impacted, $300 increases a month in rent across the board in those neighborhoods. Folks are double and tripled up, and so the need to address long-term affordable housing that is resilient, that is sustainable, is of paramount importance. And you know, with the increases in flood insurance, like landlords in private housing stock are able to pass those burdens on to renters. So if you're living in a one-room apartment, maybe in an accessory dwelling unit, maybe it's legal, maybe it's not, if your landlord's rent quadruples, you are going to face that burden, and either you're going to get somebody else to move in with you, or you're going to have to move out of your community and your neighborhood. So I think that sort of figuring out what kind of solutions are available is important to sort of maintaining a diverse, economically, visually, culturally city, which I think is probably important to everyone here in this room. For low-income homeowners, kind of flood insurance, obviously, if they have been struggling to pay their mortgages, a number of these neighborhoods, particularly, I know Canarsie was hit very hard by the foreclosure crisis in 2008, and they're going to be hit again, right? So these are folks that maybe have already refinanced their mortgage a number of times, are already underwater, and now are also having these added burdens. So what are we going to do about it? I want to echo Yatin. And you have to organize, you have to advocate, you have to push different kinds of agendas forward and different narratives into the public sort of sphere. So at AJR and sort of in Align in general, which is the organization that gives me my money, we stand in convene coalition, so I convene that coalition. That was weirdly worded. Anyway, so we're organizing the People's Climate March. I have been on the phone about buses, I'm a little scattered. I apologize. I came running from a city council hearing, and hadn't emailed it, but I ate, so it's okay. Don't worry about that. But anyway, so the People's Climate March is hopefully hundreds of thousands of people. Hopefully everyone in this room and all of your friends and family will be there on Sunday. And it's really asking, we tried to make as broad a tent as possible so that we could have everyone in the room, because there's so many, these issues are so complex and no one has the right answer, but lots of people have possible answers, and we should all be pushing those forward. And you should be, and I really push and advocate for folks to work in coalition and in alliances with folks so that your voice can be amplified, right? Because I'm sure there's hundreds of great ideas out there, and if you guys work together and sort of make little work groups, you can really push something and make big change happen. So as part of the People's Climate March and as part of the work we've been doing this summer, we are interested in sort of broadening AJR, Alliance for Restoration Building, was focused on Sandy, right, and advocating for Sandy survivors. And we're interested, Sandy was one storm, and there will be other storms, and we need to be thinking citywide, and we need to be thinking proactively about reducing our effect and contribution to climate change. And so the way that we've been thinking about doing it is trying to figure out campaigns and initiatives that would tie reduction in climate change to increased jobs and economic development. So maybe many of you know, maybe you don't, but 2% of the city's building produce 45% of the city's emissions. So one of the things that we've been pushing and talking a lot with the administration on is like building community for retrofits. There was 2009, Green Integrated Buildings was enacted. The mandatory retrofit part got taken out because revenue and other sort of landlords, we were basically asking folks to do extensive repairs and changing boilers, changing light bulbs, window panes, so on and so forth. So that the mandatory part got out, but there's already for large buildings, so 50,000 square feet or more, mandatory audits. So they are already producing energy audits. You can see their emissions, you can see their energy uses, public record. But what isn't, we haven't, it's been a voluntary program, and we haven't seen the kinds of reductions that we need to continue to have the city that we love and live in. So we're interested in having that be mandatory, because making it mandatory means we will see the gains that we need. So that's sort of one idea that we're having. The other is sort of investing in microgrids. So what we saw in Sandy is one part of the network got knocked down, and then there's sort of a domino effect. It's kind of like with your Christmas lights. So if they're all connected, they're all going out. If they are a little bit autonomous, then those neighborhoods can stay lit even when there's out. And what also helps with microgrids is there's local energy generation. So you can put in some solar on a school, and then that can be the hub of your microgrid in your neighborhood. Hospitals are really important. We also believe public housing, which is an important part of neighborhoods, can also act as those energy generation. For that, we're interested with NYCHA to have them replace their boilers with combined heat and power, so that in the energy that's used to sort of power the building, it also is heating the building, so you're using your energy twice. There's a lot of creative ideas out there, and there's a lot of ways that we can move it forward, but we have to do it together, and we have to be really willing to stand up and say this is the line that we need to reach as a city so that we are here for the long term. Thanks.